Attachment styles, you guys, are not personality types. These are not diagnoses, and these are not labels or boxes that we are stuck in. Attachment styles are actually our nervous system's way of learning how to protect connection.
This is Monday momentum. No longer is this, oh God, it's Monday. It's, oh God, it's Monday.
Monday.
Come on. So we're going to go ahead. Let's click mute on your mics. I'm going to hand this over to Amber.
All right. Thank you, Rebecca. I'm so glad to see everyone here today. So like Rebecca said, we've been talking about emotional health this month. And today we're going to look at something that's really central to our emotional health, because it's not just about being healthy, but when we're emotionally healthy, it influences all of our relationships, right? How many of you guys know that? 100%. The way we show up emotionally affects the people around us. And so today we're going to talk about the way that we relate to the people who are around us. And most of us already know this as attachment theory. So if you're familiar with attachment theory, maybe you've heard it a couple times, or you've done some research, you've got some pins saved on Pinterest, go ahead and throw a thumbs up in the chat for me. Let's just see. We've got some familiar. Yeah, I see a couple thumbs up on the screens. All right. All right. Awesome. So this isn't new stuff, but we're going to workshop it a little bit today. And my goal is to really help bring this home for you and in your relationships, the way that you're showing up and the way that people are showing up for you, because this really does affect a lot. And so now I'm going to challenge you a minute. For those of you especially who are familiar, if you want to share, go ahead and drop in the chat with these emojis. All right, so you got to listen up. These are specific. What your attachment style has been. Maybe you've taken the quiz, or you've read enough to know, yeah, I'm anxious, or I'm pretty avoidant. So if you are anxious, drop a puppy in the chat. We're going to talk about this in a little bit, I promise. But drop a puppy if you lean towards anxious attachments. And maybe you're more like a turtle. You tend to withdraw and hide and not move forward and be avoidant. So if anyone is avoidant, you can drop a turtle emoji in the chat. And maybe you're inclined to be more like a hedgehog, where you're like, I crave connection, but also don't get too close to me. Come pet me, I'm so cute and cuddly, but also I'm prickly, so be careful. And so maybe you're a little disorganized, and that's okay. You can drop a hedgehog in if you'd like, or at least think about, which one of these am I? So we're going to go through. I don't have my chat up. I should grab that. Yes. Oh, I'm seeing turtles and puppies and hedgehogs, all of it. Yes. Thank you guys for sharing. Bobby can't find the hedgehog. That's okay. I wondered how easy it would be to find those emojis. Oh, so we're going to talk about why I chose which animal I did in just a minute. But before we dig into that, I want to share something that's really important. Attachment styles, you guys, are not personality types. These are not diagnoses, and these are not labels or boxes that we are stuck in. Attachment styles are actually our nervous system's way of learning how to protect connection. Let me say it again. The attachment styles are nervous system strategies that we learned in order to protect connection. Research shows again and again that we are wired for connection. Throw up a heart if you know that. It's dangerous to do this alone, right? We are actually designed for secure attachment with ourselves, with each other, with a higher power. And secure attachment simply means this: connection feels safe. I can be with you. I can even need you, and I can still be fully myself. And so here's the thing: when that kind of consistent safety wasn't available, and if we're honest, looking back, especially on our childhood, when these attachment styles begin to form, for most of us, it wasn't there perfectly. And our sweet little nervous systems do what they do, and they adapt. Some of us learn to move closer, to pursue connection. Some of us learn to pull away. And some of us learn to do both. And so hear this today. These are not flaws. They're not flaws in you. They're not flaws in the relationships that you are navigating. They're actually highly intelligent survival responses that your nervous system created to help you navigate this thing we call connection. So today isn't about asking yourself, what's wrong with me? It's actually about asking, how did I learn to stay safe in connection? And then from there, how do I move towards security? And so let's look at these animals real quick, a little high-level overview of these attachment styles. And you'll see yourself in one of these, I promise. A lot of you already are familiar with this, and so we'll see if you got it right. The puppy. Think about a puppy. Anxiously attached. That sweet puppy cries when you leave, right? When are you coming back? I have no concept of time, but you're not here and I miss you. So what happens for the puppies is when connection feels uncertain, the puppy moves closer. I've got to pursue you. I've got to stay close to you, whatever I can do. The puppy scans. It seeks reassurance, right? Tell me I'm a good boy. Somebody tell me I'm a good boy. And it thinks I must stay close so I don't lose this. So the core fear underneath of this is abandonment. And the message is actually, I will give up myself in order to keep connection. So there's high intimacy and low independence because I don't know who I am if I'm not connected, and I will lay down myself in order to stay connected to you. Can you guys see it in the puppy? Think about a puppy. Yeah, it makes sense, doesn't it? All right, next we have the turtle, the avoidance. For the sweet, precious, slow-moving turtle, connection often feels overwhelming. And the turtle does what? Pulls inward into its shell. The turtle regulates alone, and it thinks, I need space to stay safe. The core fear for an avoidant attached turtle is being controlled or engulfed, right? And so this overwhelm it's scary and I've got to do something. I've got to protect myself. The message underneath that is I will give up connection in order to keep myself. And so there's a high value for independence and a low value for intimacy. And then the hedgehog. Oh, the sweet, precious hedgehog. If you are a hedgehog or have a hedgehog in your life, please have compassion and grace because the precious hedgehog wants to be close. The hedgehog desires connection, right? You can see their little face. Look how cute I am. Come be close to me. But it also braces against it. It moves towards and away at the same time. Now, I want us to pause for a minute and think. If you're in a relationship with a hedgehog or you ever have been, you know how confusing that can be. And it can feel really unsteady. But think about those precious hedgehogs. The internal things that are going on inside of them to so desire connection, but also be afraid of it at the same time. And so just breathe in some compassion. If you're a hedgehog, if you know a hedgehog, that's a hard place to be. That's a hard place to be. It is risky. Yes, Amy, very risky. So the core fear for the hedgehog is that connection feels unpredictable or unsafe. I'm not quite sure what's going to happen if I'm closely connected to you. I don't know how to predict this, and so I have to stay safe. And the message underneath this is, I want you to be close to me, but I also don't know if I can trust this. And the last one that I didn't have you put inside of the chat, because most of us don't get this easily. We have to earn it. And there's such a thing as earned secure attachment, is a tree. And so it's not an animal, it's a tree. But think about a tree, rooted and steady. The tree can be close without losing itself. The tree can express needs directly. It doesn't chase, right? It's not uprooting to get closer to you. And it also doesn't disappear. It doesn't shrink. And so the message for a securely attached tree is connection is safe. I can be close to you and still be fully myself. And again, secure attachment can be earned. It actually grows as our nervous system experiences safety, which is why, you guys, these times of being together and learning to do life together are so vital because it's teaching us. How many times in breakout rooms have you been like, yes, I felt safe today? Every time you feel safe, when you show up as yourself, you are taking another step towards earning secure attachment. And so I want to pause for a minute. I want to workshop this a little bit today. And I want to make this personal. So I want you to consider this. If you've got pen and paper nearby, maybe you want to jot this down. Maybe you just need to think about it. If you want to share in the chat, you're welcome to, but please don't feel like you have to. When someone pulls away from you emotionally, what is it that happens in your body? And so I'm not talking emotions yet. I'm talking sensations. When someone pulls away, what happens inside of your body? Just consider that. Is there relief? Is there fear? Is there anxiety that rises up? Chest is fluttering. Oh my gosh, I got to fix this. Yeah, thank you for sharing, Bobby. Worry, it happens. And then on the flip side of that, when someone gets too close or a little needy, what happens in your body then? We've all had that experience where we have a friend or a significant other and I need some space. And they're like, no space. Amy panics. Yeah. Yeah. That can feel like a lot. It can make us shut down. And so now I want you to reflect. Thank you guys for sharing. Keep sharing in the chats. Because what we're doing when we share in the chats is actually practicing secure attachment. Because this is a safe place to share. These are safe connections, and it's letting us know we're not alone. Everything that's popped up, at least one of us is, yep, that's me too. And that's what we need. We need to know that you're not an oddball. You're right where you need to be. And we're all learning and growing towards something different. So now I want you to think about, and please remind me before we hop off of here, I have a short PDF that will highlight the overview of this. I just wrapped it up this morning, so I didn't get it to one of our beautiful VAs to make it pretty. So it's very simple, but I'll drop it in the chat and I'll drop it in WhatsApp later today too. But think about this. When I feel disconnected from someone that I love, I tend to, here's some options. I tend to pursue. I tend to shut down. I tend to over-explain or criticize or withdraw. Maybe when you feel disconnected from someone, you tend to numb. You go numb, turn off all emotions. Amy contemplates, yeah. Maybe you panic internally, but you look calm on the outside, right? Like a little duck. You're like inside, rah! You keep that cool exterior. So again, we're just reflecting on when I feel disconnected from someone that I love, what do you tend to do? Andrew says criticize, yeah. Panic internally. Bobby, pursue, over-explain, then withdraw and panic. But look cool, yeah. These are all things that our nervous system has learned to do to stay safe in connection. Yeah, Dan, naturally to withdraw, but now get curious and pursue. And that's what secure attachment looks like. Get serious or get curious. Yeah. Thank you, Tiffany. Pursue. All right, we're going to take this another level. My core fear in relationships is, I'm going to throw out some ideas. Is it being abandoned? Maybe it's being controlled. Maybe your core fear is being too much or being not enough. Maybe a core fear in relationships for you is being exposed. Or maybe a core fear in relationship is that this is going to be chaotic and not predictable. Yeah, Amy says not being known, not being enough, fear of not being enough. These are real fears. Yeah, out of control is hard for sure. Chaotic and unpredictable. That is a fear. What is this going to look like? What if I lose control? And then I've got to fill in the blank. And this might require a little thought. But when I'm stressed in relationship, my inner narrative sounds like blank. For some of us, this might be a person. It might be, it sounds like my dad, or it sounds like my mom. It might be, it sounds like an inner critic. It might be, it sounds like, I got to fix this, or what did I do wrong? It might be those thoughts. So just take a moment and think through that. When I'm stressed in relationship, my inner narrative sounds, yeah, what did I do wrong? That's one of mine. Or shoot, I'm in trouble. I always do this. Yeah. Yeah. That's a lot of blame, right? A lot of blame. Now, as we've taken a moment to become aware of how we show up, I just want to encourage you that awareness is the first step towards change because we're all here to grow, not to stay in these old patterns, right? Now, here's what happens, and I'm sure you've all seen it. When two people are in a relationship, whether it's romantic or friendship or even parent to child, and they're operating out of their protective patterns, it creates what researchers call a dance. So, in using the animals, the puppy pursues, the turtle withdraws. And just picture it for a minute, right? Like a puppy. Think of a little puppy, sees a turtle, so excited. This puppy's like, new friends, new friends. Runs up to the turtle, so excited, tail wagging. And the turtle shrinks into its shell. And then the puppy's, what is happening? Why aren't we friends? Why aren't you playing with me? Why aren't you talking to me? And the puppy's pawing at the turtle's shell. Come on, let's go, let's get out. So, as part of the dance, this puppy escalates. And what does the turtle do? Shuts down further. Neither is trying to hurt the other one. In fact, it's often not it's rarely is it intentional. It's very not intentional. And sometimes there's not even awareness of this is what's happening. But what is happening is in this relationship, both people are trying to feel safe. And I'm honestly focusing on puppies and turtles because in most relationships, those are the people that are attracted to each other. And this is the dance that's created. And especially in romantic relationships, when that attraction starts, it's exciting, right? The anxious puppies, oh, look how cool that turtle is. Like, he's not in a hurry for anything. I love this. I want more of this. And the turtle's looking at this crazy puppy running around. Oh my gosh, she has big emotions. I wish I had more emotions. And so it initially attracts. And then you settle into a deeper relationship and it can become a cycle that is hurtful and painful if we don't recognize it. So the more each of them protects themselves, the more threatened the other feels. That sweet turtle is, I'm overwhelmed, I'm pulling away, and the puppy is hurt. Why are you pulling away? And the puppy's pawing at the turtle shell, and the turtle's, could you just leave me alone? So go ahead and throw up a heart right now if you have ever been in a relationship and you have seen this dance. Yeah, I know I have, for sure. And so we have to stop and think when I go into my protective pattern, whether it's anxious and pursue or withdraw and hold back, whatever my protective pattern is, what does it pull out of the other person? And again, we're gaining awareness. And so now I want you to think about one relationship. It could be your partner, it could be a friend, it could be a child, maybe one that there's been some tension in, some missteps. Maybe as I'm describing the dance, you're like, oh, yeah, we're dancing and it is not fun, and I want to get off this dance floor. Think about that one person for right now. And you might want to jot these down. If not, just think through them. And this will be on the worksheet too, the little PDF that I have. But when that person is stressed, they tend to blank. Think about what they do when they feel stressed. Yeah, Tammy's noticing anger from that person. There will be so many responses to this. And then think through, what is their core fear? Now, you might not know, and they might not be fully aware of it. And so this, again, is not about diagnosing. But their core fear seems to be, put it in that language, it seems to be this. I have a close relationship, and it seems like his fear is being controlled. And I can't say that with 100% certainty, but after watching over the years, I'm like, oh, this is when you really shut down. So when you pay attention, you'll know. And then we're going to bring this home a little bit deeper. When I do blank, so whatever it is that you do that protects yourself in the midst of that connection, they respond by blank. And so maybe you're a turtle. When I create space and pull away, they respond by texting 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times. Or when I pursue, they respond by, I feel like I hit a brick wall, right? And so they respond by pulling away. And my hope here is that you're starting to see some patterns within yourself first, because emotional health requires us to be aware, and also within your relationships. Because again, guys, we're not getting emotionally healthy and resilient just to impact us, because this will affect every relationship. This isn't about blame, it's actually about awareness. And I want to share a couple of stories before we get ready for breakout rooms. And these are vulnerable stories. And so I want to thank you guys, first of all, for being a place that I can share as I'm learning and growing in all of this too. But in my marriage, I've often been the puppy, the anxiously attached. Please text me back. Why have you texted me back? What's going on? And my husband has often been the turtle. Oh my gosh, she texted me again. I have to pull away to protect myself. And at times, the dance has felt so intense. And if you've been in that dynamic, and honestly, you guys, it has been so intense at times that I have had well-meaning friends label it as an abuse cycle. And I'm not kidding. That's what it felt like. For a moment, I wondered if they were right. But hear me all the way out. As I've learned more about attachment, I realized something really important. This wasn't two villains. It's actually been two nervous systems trying to stay safe. Now, this does not excuse harmful behavior. Real abuse, emotional, mental, verbal, it does exist, and it should never be minimized. And I think you all who know me know my heart that I would never minimize that. But what I realized in my marriage is that it wasn't an abuse cycle. It was a pursue and withdrawal cycle. It was both of us trying to stay safe in connection with each other. And here's what changed things. It wasn't that my husband studied attachment theory. He's heard me say these words, especially last week on a walk. He has no idea what they mean. He's never taken a quiz to reveal his attachment style. He has no idea, and that's okay. He hasn't had any big revelations. He hasn't seen something on Facebook and came up and been like, Amber, I figured it out. I withdraw when you pursue, and this is why we're having a problem. He hasn't done any of that. But what I did, because I'm in charge of me and I'm in charge of how I show up in this relationship, I began working towards a secure attachment in myself because I had the revelation. And so it was on me to do the work inside of me. And I honestly started asking, how would a securely attached person respond right now? And sometimes I have to pull out my journal and I have to think about that. What would my response be if I was securely attached? And something really beautiful has happened, guys. As I regulate myself, the dynamic begins to shift. And so now we're experiencing more closeness, more steadiness, and more safety. I'm not pursuing him while he's overwhelmed in such a way that I got to get out of here. I'm creating space. I'm inviting, I'm opening, I'm asking him, what's your experience like? What are your thoughts on this? Instead of being that little puppy that's just chasing him around the house, right? And when he pulls inward, I don't panic the way that I used to. And actually what that's done is that's made it safer for him to come closer. And so you guys, this dance is real. And if you're in the middle of it, especially in a romantic relationship, it can be so incredibly painful and confusing. I've been there. But when we start to see these dynamics, we can do something different. We can create the space for others. And so I want to share one more story. And this one's about my daughter. And I noticed this weekend, she was upset on Valentine's Day. I still don't know what happened. I'm a verbal processor. She is not. It drives me crazy. I don't understand it, but it is what it is. So she is in her bedroom crying. And I go and sit with her. I just sit on her bed and she's got that nervous energy, right? So she can't sit with me. And all I want to do is hug her and piece her back together with my hug. And I knew like her energy, she's got to work this out. So she's pacing around her room, tears falling down her face. And I asked her, I'm like, is it okay if I give you a hug? And she's not right now. Okay. Is there anything you want to talk about? Not right now, Mom. Okay. As she's still crying, you guys. And I'm like, but I know something's bothering you. Oh, and so I sat there for maybe 3 minutes and then I told her I am available in just one room away. You can even wake me up tonight if you need to. Thank you, Mom. I love you. Okay. The next morning, she had a job interview. So I knew it's going to be hard because she probably hasn't slept well. It's going to be hard for her to go to this job interview. And so we touched base beforehand. She still doesn't want to talk about why she was upset. And before she leaves for the job interview, of course, I gave her a little pep talk, right? You just put all this on the shelf. It'll be here when you get home. We'll figure it out, but you go be the best you can be right now. And so she's getting ready to walk out the door. And again, all I want to do is hug her. And I stop myself. Would it be okay if I gave you a hug before you left? And she's holding back tears. No, Mom, I don't want a hug right now. Okay. And she walks out the door for her job interview and she shows up well and she comes home with a smile on her face. And here's the thing, you guys, if I was acting out of my anxious attachment, I would have pursued her and pushed her. I would have forced her to give me a hug. Why? Because I needed it. I would have forced her to talk as much as I could have, right? That would have been my goal. I would have So craved connection because in those moments, it feels like I'm losing it. When someone is hurting and they're not sharing, you're like, where is this connection? I don't know what to do with this. If I would have stayed anxious and I would have even grabbed her and hugged her without asking, can you imagine how that would have set her up for almost failure at her job interview? Because she knew that if I hugged her, she would cry. And she didn't want to go to that interview red faced. And so then I'm thinking about it, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is why we heal. You guys, this is why this is important. Because what I was able to do is give her the space that she needed to work through it on her own. I trust that when she's ready, she's going to come to me. And I'm going to be that tree that provides her the shade when she's ready to come sit down. But I did not knock her off course before a job interview. I did not give her one more thing to carry. Can you imagine? Maybe you've been there. Maybe you've been there where you're carrying so much and someone else is so insecure in their attachment with you that they need you right now. I could have done that to her. I've had that done to me. And so then I'm navigating the original stuff and how do I keep my mom secure? How do I let my mom know I love her? Autumn did not have to do any of those things. She had the space. And as she shut the door and left, and I took a deep breath, I was like, this is it. This is why we do this. Because I'm allowing my daughter to relate to me in a way that makes sense to her. I'm empowering her to be strong. And none of this is about me right now. It is actually about her and what she needs. And I saw someone throw in the chat the revelation of being a hugger. It's so true, especially for people who tend to be more avoidant, asking that question, can I hug you? And I have friends that have taught me that. Amber, if you hug me, I'm going to cry. Don't hug me right now. Okay. Okay. I can respect that. Why? Because I'm becoming a tree. Because I'm earning secure attachment with myself first, which affects everything around me. And so we're going to spend a few minutes in breakout rooms talking about this, and then we'll come back and close up today. But a couple of questions I'll throw in the chat around some awareness. So what did you notice about your protective pattern today? And so you can share with each other the discoveries that you need to share. And then when you go into your pattern, what are you usually needing in that moment? And so this is really helping us to shift from blame, right? He makes me anxious to responsibility. When I feel distance, I need reassurance. Then it's responsibility, it's ownership. That's mature, it's powerful, it's how we show up emotionally healthy. And then lastly, if you get time to discuss what would tree energy, and so that secure attachment, right? What would that look like for you in one current relationship this week? And so we're making it practical. And I want that to think about an action step in that. So let me grab these questions and put them in the chat so you have them. And I just want to thank you guys for being active in the chat today. That makes it fun and interactive for all of us. And the way that you all share so vulnerably with each other is really beautiful. So we're going to hit breakout rooms. Rebecca, you got rooms set up? And we'll see you back here probably in about 12 minutes or so.